The baby was so still. There was no sign of a heartbeat. She said, "Oh, but looks like you're not as far along as you think you are." And my heart just dropped because I knew exactly how far along I was.
So we have 2 living kids, and then we have 3 babies that we lost to miscarriage. For the first baby, we didn't know very long. Like, we found out early, and then it was pretty early on when that loss happened. Something felt off, wasn't sure what, but a few days later, I started to cramp and bleed, and I realized what was happening. I had an undiagnosed structural abnormality, so it's called a bicornuate and septated uterus. Basically, in pregnancies like that, there's just a much higher risk that you might lose your baby.
That's something that people often don't hear about other miscarriages too, is that sometimes it's different for every woman, right? Some women experience it more like a period. For some women, it can be even a longer process.
It was hard because it was at a time I was at work. I wasn't able to really process those emotions until I was on my way home, and I just was crying, trying to drive.
The 2 of us just curled up on our bed and just cried.
I got home, and my husband and I just held each other and we cried. Yeah.
Chris, I'm so sorry. I felt Peter's shoulders just shaking behind me, and my shoulders were shaking. And
I was not prepared sort of for kind of the doctor to come in and do an ultrasound and in one very quick sentence say, "Oh, there's no heartbeat, the baby's dead, but don't worry, you can conceive, soon after."
Something that wasn't helpful that someone said to me was, "Well, you're gonna have another baby. You're losing a child." I felt that loss.
Then we were faced with the really dark task of delivering the baby, because what I experienced is called a silent miscarriage or a missed miscarriage, where the baby dies, but the body doesn't fully recognize that that's what's happened.
I had done a lot of emotional work, honestly, about releasing the baby and just kind of recognizing, trying to speak to my body, like, hey, like they're gone, they've passed away. I have to entrust them into the Lord now.
The cramping turned more so into contractions. Because that wasn't explicitly said, I started getting worried.
I'm not super comfortable in a hospital. And so I think it was also gracious of God to allow everything to happen naturally for us. I think it is so vital to have other people because the grief is so much. And it's really hard to make decisions.
So you made the decision to go with the D&C, or the vacuum aspiration.
It was pretty painful. And it was also very painful to watch my husband.
And why, God? Why are you not letting me birth my baby naturally? This is all I wanted.
I think it's normal to be angry for a little while. And of course, by God's grace, we realize that it's part of his bigger plan, whether we understand it or not.
In mid-April, I woke up one morning and I couldn't stand up. I was in so much pain. I go back in and they're like, well, we didn't get everything out. They wanted me to take the pill to try to complete the miscarriage, so I did that. I have experienced complications ever since then.
One of the things I had to do was buy a sieve to put in the toilet to catch my baby. If there's any remnants, incomplete pieces, that can lead to infection and all kinds of other issues.
It's quiet, oh so still here in the afternoon.
In the fullness of time, his redemption can trace even back to this moment of this loss. You can't fix it and you can't make the baby come back, but you can, we can support each other in that time.
We planted flowers over her grave, and it was a very healing moment.
As time goes on, just write down how God makes things beautiful through the life and legacy of that baby.
I recommend, giving your baby a name. So my baby's name is Hope.
And I have a necklace that has the names of all of our kids. We named her Monroe Grace.
If I can say anything to Hope, it's that we love you. And we have a sibling down here. Breathe.
My fear takes hold when I lose control. Would you come?